Good afternoon, Year 6. I hope you're well and have had a good day. Today, we're going to think in our spelling session about how we can link words which are based on common words and show how these words are related in form and in meaning, so how they link to other words. And we're going to practice some of those spellings. To be successful today, we're going to check our previous week's spellings. That's from a while back, but we'll look at those spellings we did previously. We'll learn these new spellings, which are centered on the common word of inter, I-N-T-E-R. We will practice these spellings, and eventually we will use these spellings in our work. Okay. Just a bit of recall then initially. So these, like we've done previously, there's 10 correct spellings, 10 incorrect spellings on your sheet, or just copying down the correct ones for each one. Could you pause the video and circle or copy down the correct 10 spellings, please? Okay. Now pause it, and then back in 5, in 4, in 3, 2, 1. Let's check how you've done. So commit is correct there with the 2 M's. You see the second M there. Committee has the 2 E's at the end of it. Transmit has the single T at the end of it, not the 2 T's. Submit has the single T. You might have been able to spot some of these because the spell check didn't go off on the screen. So if you've spotted that, well done. Commitment has 2 M's within it. Emit, which is that where something such as fuel escapes or pollutions are emitted into the atmosphere, starts with an E, not an I. Permit, when we allow somebody to do something or somebody has been given a permit to do something, is an E rather than a U after the P. Intermittent, which means something happens infrequently, so temporarily, not temporarily, but sometimes, but not regular intervals. Intermittent rainfall, for example, bits of rain, no rain, bits of rain. Intermittent has the 2 T's within the midst of it. Unremitting, incorrect if it's got the second M because it's a single M. And omit, which is when we don't let something be included in something. So, for example, the cricket team might omit somebody who's not very good at throwing or catching or hitting the ball. Okay. Right, guys. So today we're going to be looking at inter, this prefix of inter. So it comes from the Latin, like lots of the language we've looked at in Private Peaceful and with our poetry as well recently and in our other subjects, and linked into Carl Linnaeus and his binomial classification system. So inter comes from Latin and means between or amongst or in the middle of. Okay, so it means in the middle of. Now, I'd like you to think about how many words you can think of in the next minute. So just give yourself 1 minute. How many words can you think of? Okay. So where the prefix is inter, I can think of international. Can I think of any more? What else can you think of? It's a word that the prefix is inter. Got about half your time left. How are you doing? How are you doing? Internally, I'm very worried whether I'm going to do this or not. Just don't know if I've interpreted the instructions correctly. How many can I think of? Oh, sorry, guys, I don't want to interrupt you. Let's see how many you got. Okie dokie. Inter is our root word. And from that, we've got, and did you think of any of the ones that you're spelling today? Let's see. So we've got interrupt. I interrupted you, and you might have thought of interrupt if I hadn't said interrupt. Okay, intercept. So where something is broken up. So communication is intercepted when it's stopped. Internal. So those internal thoughts, which we've talked of with our concerns and our worries about the world. Intertwine, when things are linked. When things are linked, they're intertwined. Interloper, somebody who comes into somebody's world or somebody's environment who isn't welcome there. So, for example, if you had a year 6 class that was going on and suddenly, out of nowhere, a gorilla turned up, he would be an interloper. Now go away, you nasty interloper. Sorry, guys, I know you're all too mature for cuddly toys. He interfered in our lesson, didn't I? Pesky gorilla came and interfered in our lesson. Interject is where excuse me, Mr. Spring. That's not interfere. That's interject. This is where you maybe make an interruption, which is to try and add weight to what somebody's saying. Interim is a synonym for temporary. So somebody who's doing something for a temporary period of time, and they're interim teacher, interim manager. Intersperse is when you put some things in between other things. And when you're interested in something, you want to know more about it. Look at all of those. You manage to find all those? You check what they mean. Check a little bit more about what they mean. So this guy, Mr. Whoops, again, strange old fella, socks, gloves, bow tie, no trousers. But what we've got to check with him is whether or not we've got the correct definition. So they've all got mixed up here: interrupt, interfere, intercept, intertwine, internal, and interloper. Can you match the correct ones? What I suggest you do is just write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then write the correct word for each of the definitions. So what is prevent someone from continuing? What is twisting together? What is the process of stopping the progress of something? What does it mean when somebody's involved where they're not wanted? What does it mean if you prevent a process from being carried out properly? And what is it with something situated on the inside? Pause the video. Okay, let's see how you got on. So we've got interrupt as our first one, which is stop the progress of something. Preventing a process from being carried out properly is to interfere. Intercept is when you prevent someone or something from continuing. Twisting together is when you intertwine. Internal is when it's inside you, and an interloper is somebody who comes along and is involved where they're not wanted, an interloper. Okay. Right, guys, here's your spellings for this week then. Interrupt, interfere, intercept, interject, internal, interim, interrest, intertwine, and interloper. All of them with that inter prefix, and then they've got different meanings for each one. As with other weeks, guys, same practice as normal. Look at them initially, read them 5, 10 times, practice them in your head, practice them on a piece of paper, and then check them on spelling. Check them where you can't see the original spelling and write them, check whether you've got them correct or not, and then check again at 2 or 3 points over the week. And please do try and use them in sentences. Can you use them in your poetry as well? Be a good opportunity to use them and try and demonstrate your full capacity. Guys, I look forward to seeing those. Thank you for all your efforts with your spellings. See you soon. Bye bye.